All right, joining us now as we continue our special investigation and reacting to today's breaking news, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, Florida Congressman Ron DeSantis, and Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. Congressman Jim Jordan, let me start with you.
Sure.
This is an amazing thing that Rod Rosenstein, who appointed Robert Mueller, who is the same guy that extended the FISA warrant with the phony dossier, which was the bulk of information, that he did not want Devin Nunes to get any of this material, and that only because of digging by you and Congressman Meadows and your staffs were we able to find the latest Strzok-Page messages, which show all of this, collusion, if you will, to use a term, or at least a relationship with this judge that recused himself after he accepted General Flynn's plea.
Right, exactly right, Sean. Three key points.
Help me out here.
Yeah, no, you said it well. The judge recuses himself in the Flynn case. That same judge, the text messages make very clear, had a friendship and relationship with Peter Strzok, the guy who was deputy head of counterintelligence at the FBI, and the Justice Department made it difficult for us to get that information. In fact, the copies that we got, the documents that we got were redacted. We had to send staff. Mr. Meadows' staff went in there and found the information which shows the relationship. So he recused himself, as you said, after the case, not before. He had a relationship, that judge had a relationship with Peter Strzok, and the Justice Department didn't want us to find it out. And the key question is, why?
Well, let's go through that key question. Ron DeSantis, that is a key question. Why? Why? Why would you? A judge doesn't take on a case, then recuse himself, and then we find the judge is best friends with the guy at the heart of everything, Peter Strzok.
Yeah, Sean, and I mean, just remember, this was such an odd case from the beginning with Flynn. They rushed in to interrogate him in the White House, January of 2017. Obviously, he ends up pleading guilty, but he probably didn't know all that was going on with Peter Strzok. And so this thing just does not sit well with me. And I also have an issue, as Jimmy said, with the Department of Justice. They fought us tooth and nail, on everything pretty much, including this right here. Why were they heavily redacting this portion? That was something that we were entitled to see in conducting oversights. They tried to hide it from the American people.
Yeah, and Tom Fitton, you have struggled, and your organization has struggled, and this gets to, why are they trying to hide? Remember, Devin Nunes waited till the final 5 minutes before the subpoena of this information from the DOJ that should have been handed over much earlier, and now Congressman Jordan, Congressman Meadows, Congressman DeSantis, they have to send their entire staffs over. They can't even take a picture of anything. It's like, don't they have oversight? Isn't that part of checks and balances? Oversight committees are to check and balance to make sure that things don't go wrong.
Well, they resist oversight not only from Congress, the Department of Justice and FBI do, but also from the courts. I mean, we're in federal court asking for these types of text messages. We're asking, why haven't we gotten them yet? We know you have them. Why haven't you turned them over on McCabe and Strzok and Page? We've asked for them months ago. And we're getting the proverbial hand to the face. There's this culture of arrogance at the FBI and Justice Department that impedes virtually any oversight, either by Judicial Watch through the courts or Congress through its constitutional powers. And it's real concerning that this isn't happening during the Obama administration, but by appointees of President Trump. Jeff Sessions has got to step up and take back control of the Justice Department. Rod Rosenstein has a personal interest, it seems to me, in keeping this information away, and Director Wray is completely out to lunch on these issues, where he's more concerned about the institution of the FBI and protecting its reputation than cleaning house in terms of the corruption issues. And now we've got this issue now about the court. I know a little bit about the judicial ethics process. I can tell you it's unusual for a court to recuse themselves from a case like this without an explanation. It's unusual, and these new text messages raise questions about what was going on and why the court recused itself without telling the public what was the reason for doing so in such a high-profile case.
Jim Jordan,
Sean,
I see you want to weigh in. Go ahead.
Sean, it's unusual for the judge to recuse himself at any time. It's really unusual for him to recuse himself after the case has been decided.
Well, what do you make of Judge Contreras' relationship with Peter Strzok in all this?
Well, and also Peter Strzok's relationship with Michael Flynn. He was there at the interview of Michael Flynn when supposedly Flynn said something false to the FBI. So that, I don't know how this all fits together. That's why all we're saying is these three key facts happened. There was a recusal. There was a relationship between the judge and Peter Strzok, a central figure in this whole affair, and the Department of Justice was making it very difficult for Congress to, as both Tom and Ron have pointed out, to do our constitutional oversight. Those three facts are indisputable. So let's ask why that was the case. Why can't we get the information, and why, in fact, did this judge recuse himself?
Let's go back to this new reveal, and it says, Congressman DeSantis, in a text message which Page to Strzok, Rudy, meaning Judge Contreras, is on the FISA court. Did you know that? Just appointed 2 months ago. And they discuss other things. Then, of course, Peter Strzok comes back. I did. We talked about it before and after. I need to get together with him. These two hate Donald Trump, and then they're best friends with a judge on the FISA court. Now, there were 4 separate FISA court judges that were all lied to because they never informed the judges in the applications that Hillary had bought and paid for, unverified, uncorroborated, what turned out to be many Russian lies to influence the election, Congressman.
Well, I'll tell you, Peter Strzok has done so much damage to the reputation of the FBI with his arrogance. I mean, him and Lisa Page are sitting there saying, well, let's manufacture a social setting or a dinner party so I can talk with them and he won't have to recuse himself type of deal. But you're right. We need to get all the documents about all the FISA applications. I know Contreras was probably one of the judges, but we don't know which one. The Justice Department will not give us the transcripts. They won't give us the documents. And you have to ask yourself, why would they not want to do this? If this was all on the up and up, wouldn't you want to clear the air so that the American people can move on? But yet they fight us tooth and nail on every issue.
And what other information are you looking for, Tom Fitton?
Sean, we want the FISA applications, too. What was interesting is that we understood the FISA court was misled. These new text messages now raise questions about whether the FISA court process was corrupted internally. And I don't know if any judge did anything wrong, but certainly there's enough for the court to begin an internal investigation of how the judges communicated with the FBI, were all the communications appropriate and disclosed in a way that the public can be assured that there was the fair administration of justice in the operations of the FISA court. I tell you, this corruption at the Obama Justice Department and FBI, which continues in some way today, not only ruined the Justice Department and FBI, it's now splashed onto the courts. What a disaster.
I would only, Congressman Jordan, I would only
just
ask,
going to say,
go ahead. You got to send your staff over every day.
Yep. Yeah.
If that's the only way we can get the information, that has to happen now every day.
I want to be real clear. We do not know if this judge in any way signed off on any of the 4 FISA warrants. What we do know is this series of facts raises concerns and raises the obvious question of why it happened.
One of the biggest Trump haters in the country that has so much power is bragging about his relationship and that, in fact, the judge knows all about what he does.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah.
All right.
It's terrible.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Sean Spicer, how the media is completely smearing President Trump's pick to lead the CIA. She's too tough on terror. As we continue the special edition of Hannity.